They didn't expect her to fight back. Asterisk, it was the first week of school. The heat still clinging to the corridors of Edison High like sweat on skin. And the tension in room 109 was thick enough to slice. The students weren't used to new teachers. Especially not ones like her. Tall, dark-skinned, with proud box braids that shimmered like polished coal under the fluorescence. She walked in on the first day wearing a deep burgundy blouse, black slacks, and a look in her eyes that said she knew exactly who she was. Asterisk, her name was Ms. Kendra James, a recent graduate from a historically black university and fresh off a teaching fellowship. She carried the weight of generations with her. This wasn't just a job. It was a calling. She had grown up in a neighborhood not unlike the one surrounding Edison High. And she knew what it was like to be underestimated, to be seen, but not really seen. Asterisk, she had been warned. Asterisk, the principal had said, some of these kids come from difficult homes. They act out. Don't take it personally. Asterisk, the older teachers had offered thin smiles, subtle looks, averted eyes. They knew what she was walking into. Edison High had a reputation, not for excellence, but for how quickly it devoured the new ones. Asterisk, still, Kendra had come with hope in her heart and a lesson plan that could ignite minds. Asterisk, but nothing could have prepared her for what happened that Wednesday. Asterisk, it started with whispers, low snickers in the back row, then pencils tapping in a mocking rhythm. She noticed it, of course. Teachers always notice. But she chose to focus on the ones who were paying attention, like Fatima in the front row, furiously scribbling notes, or Jamal near the window, trying his best to hide his curiosity behind a hoodie. Asterisk, the group in the back was different, led by a boy named Kyle, tall, weary, with cruel smirks and a confidence born of getting away with things too many times. His friends, Mason and Drew, flanked him like shadows, never far from mischief. They had seen teachers come and go. They thought Ms. James would be no different. Asterisk, they made comments under their breath. Asterisk, yo, what is this? Wakanda history class? Asterisk, you think she got Wi-Fi in those braids? Asterisk, she ignored them at first. Asterisk, because she believed, genuinely believed, that love and patience could pierce any armor. Asterisk, then came the day that would fracture her trust. Asterisk, it was 5th period, literature. She was halfway through an impassioned reading of their eyes were watching God when she felt it, a tug, sharp, sudden. Asterisk, her head jerked back. A few strands of her braids had been yanked, cut, right at the base. Asterisk, there was silence. A moment where even the air didn't move. Asterisk, then, laughter. Asterisk, ugly, loud, mocking. Asterisk, Kyle held up the severed braids like a trophy. Oops, he sneered. Guess I wanted a souvenir. Asterisk, the room erupted in chaos. Phones were out, some students gasping, others laughing nervously. Asterisk, Ms. James stood frozen, her heart pounding like a drum in her ears. The humiliation hit her like a wave, hot, choking. Her hair, her braids, they weren't just a style. They were heritage, identity, power. Asterisk, and now they were desecrated. Asterisk, she reached up, touched the uneven patch where the scissors had sliced through, and felt a rawness that was more than physical. She could taste tears behind her eyes. Asterisk, but she didn't cry. Asterisk, she stepped forward. Asterisk, slowly. Asterisk, deliberately. Asterisk, Kyle, she said, her voice even, low, like distant thunder. Give me the scissors. Asterisk, he laughed again, cocky. Make me. Asterisk, he hadn't seen it coming. Asterisk, she moved with a fluidity that caught everyone off guard. One moment she was standing still. The next, a roundhouse kick spun through the air like lightning. Asterisk, her foot connected with the desk Kyle had leaned against, sending it crashing over. The sound echoed like a gunshot. He stumbled back, the scissors clattering to the floor. Asterisk, she didn't touch him. She didn't have to. Asterisk, her presence had shifted. No longer just a teacher. Asterisk, now she was something else. A force. A storm. Asterisk, the class went dead silent. Asterisk, she stared at Kyle, her eyes not filled with anger, but fire. Controlled, measured. Asterisk, I hold 3 black belts, she said calmly. 1 in Taekwondo, 1 in karate, and 1 in discipline. You will not touch me again. You will not disrespect me again. Do I make myself clear? Asterisk, Kyle, wide-eyed, nodded. He was trembling. Everyone could see it. Asterisk, pick up the braids, she said. Apologize. Asterisk, he bent down slowly, shame painting his face. Asterisk, I'm sorry, he mumbled. Asterisk, to who? Asterisk, to you, Ms. James. Asterisk, she nodded. Now go to the principal's office and tell him what you did. Asterisk, without another word, he walked out. His friends trailing behind like broken shadows. Asterisk for a moment. No one moved. Asterisk then, quietly, Fatima started clapping. Asterisk it was hesitant, soft. Asterisk then Jamal joined in. Asterisk then. Others. Asterisk soon. The entire room was filled with applause. Not the kind meant to praise a performance, but the kind that said, "We see you. We respect you. We're sorry." To dot asterisk Miss James stood in the front, hands still trembling, heart still beating hard. But in that moment, she felt something shift. Not just in the room, but in herself. Asterisk later, in the staff lounge, there were whispers again. This time among the teachers. Asterisk did you hear what happened in room 109? Asterisk she kicked a desk. Asterisk she kicked a student. Asterisk no, one teacher corrected. She kicked a message into that room. Asterisk the principal called her into his office. He'd seen the security footage. He was tense at first, ready with policies and reprimands. Asterisk but after a long pause, he said, "You kept your composure." Most wouldn't. Asterisk I'm not most. She replied simply. Asterisk he nodded. We'll be calling Kyle's parents. And thank you for staying. A lot of new teachers wouldn't. Asterisk I'm not here to run, she said. Asterisk that night Kendra went home and cried, not because she was weak, but because she had been strong all day and sometimes strength cost tears. Asterisk she looked at the braids on her table. Those few severed strands, and then she lit a candle. Asterisk in the soft flickering light, she rewove them into a small bracelet. A reminder. Asterisk the next day, she wore it on her wrist. Asterisk when she walked into class. There was a different energy. Eyes looked up with something new. Not fear, not pity, but respect. Asterisk Kyle wasn't there. He had been suspended. Asterisk but the room felt healed. Asterisk as the semester wore on, something remarkable happened. Her students began to thrive. She brought literature alive, connecting texts to their lives. She made room for their stories, their pain, their dreams. Asterisk even the quiet ones began to speak. Even the tough ones began to write. Asterisk Jamal started turning in poetry. Fatima applied to journalism programs, and when Kyle returned weeks later, head low, eyes uncertain, she didn't reject him. Asterisk she handed him a copy of The Hate You Give and said, "Start with this. We'll talk after." Asterisk by the end of the year, room 109 had become something rare, sacred. Asterisk when graduation came, several students stood during the ceremony to thank a teacher who had taught them more than grammar or theme. One girl said, "Ms. James didn't just teach us how to read books, she taught us how to read ourselves." Double quotes. Asterisk another said, "She showed me that you can be soft and still fight, you can be angry and still rise." Asterisk the story of the braids spread far and wide, not because of the violence, but because of the grace that followed it. Because a black woman stood her ground, protected her identity, and still chose to teach through it. Asterisk years later, one of her former students, now a teacher himself, would tell the story to his own class. Asterisk, and he would say, asterisk there was once a woman who wore her hair like a crown. Some tried to tear it off, but she reminded them, queens don't bow, queens rise. Asterisk and so she did. Asterisk.